Hi, in today's lecture we will be focusing on the following three topics. The first one is the modulation index and sidebands. The second one is the narrowband frequency modulation, and the third one is FM signal bandwidth. So let's come to the first topic, the modulation index and sidebands. Here we can read the literature and then there is an explanation from my side to you that any modulation process produces sidebands. When a constant frequency sine wave modulates a carrier, two sideband frequencies are produced, and the sideband frequencies are the sum and the difference of the carrier and the modulating frequency. The bandwidth of an FM signal is usually much wider than that of an AM signal with the same modulating signal. So what it is saying that we have, whenever there is a modulation process which happens in which we have a modulating signal which is the information signal, and it is being input at one terminal of the modulator, and at the other end of the modulator we have an oscillator signal which is a high frequency carrier signal. Then these two both mix up in the modulator and the modulation process happens over there. And whenever uh, we see the behavior of the modulated signal, which is the output signal of the modulator, in the time domain, then we can see that there is a varying amplitude signal, or there is a varying frequency signal, or varying phase signal, depending upon the modulation which we are doing, which can be an AM modulation, FM, or PM modulation. So whenever we can see that output modulated signal in the frequency domain, then we can see that there is a central frequency which is the carrier frequency, and on the right hand side we have the upper side bands, and on the left hand side we have the lower side bands which are representing the information over there. So this is a diagrammatic representation of any modulated signal in the spectrum analyzer, which is giving us the view of the signal in the frequency domain and showing that whenever we have any modulation process, then there will be upper and lower sidebands both on the left hand side as well as on the right hand side of the carrier frequency, and these sidebands are representing the information which is being transmitted by the carrier signal. So this is saying again that the information signal, when mixed up with a carrier signal, two sideband frequencies are produced. The meaning of that statement is that we have different information signals. The most complex information signal is the square wave, which is containing a large number of sine waves in it, and the most simple form of information is a simple sine wave. Whenever a simple sine wave is being given as a modulating signal to the modulator and it is being modulated on the carrier, then when there is an output modulated signal which is being formed by the modulator, and we can see that output modulated signal in a spectrum analyzer, then only two sideband will occur, and this only one sideband on the right hand side and left on the left hand side will occur whenever we have a simple sine wave being used as an information signal. Whenever we use a voice signal, more side bands on the right hand side and on the left hand side happens, and whenever we have a video signal, more side bands will happen on the right and left hand side. So what it is saying that more the complex the modulating signal or the information signal, more will be the side bands which will be coming on the right hand side as well as on the left hand side. This is what he is saying over here. So what are these sideband frequencies? It is the statement which is telling over here that it is the sideband frequencies. These are the frequencies are the sums and the differences of the carrier frequency. As we can see over here that FC is the carrier frequency, and the upper sideband, the first sideband, is the sum of the carrier frequency plus the modulating signal frequency, and the others are FC plus 2 FM and FC plus 3 FM. They are increasing on the right hand side, while on the left hand side they are being subtracted the modulating signal frequency from the carrier frequency in that way. So this is what is being said over here, that are the sum and the differences of the carrier and the modulating frequencies. The bandwidth of FM signal is usually much wider than that of the AM signal, because in AM signal we have a modulating signal, and the modulating signal is being modulated in the modulator, and the carrier, the amplitude of the carrier is varied, while in the FM signal the frequency of the carrier is varied. So FM signals, when being viewed in the spectrum analyzer along with the AM signals, their bandwidth will be more because their sidebands will be more on the right and left hand side than the AM modulated signal. Here we will see another important terminology, which is the modulation index, which is the ratio of the frequency deviation to the frequency of the modulating signal. And this terminology is being used by the engineers to explain the level of the modulation which is happening in the frequency modulation. We will use this terminology in the numericals, as well as we will see how, when if we explain that the signal is highly modulated or lessly modulated, it can be explained in terms of this terminology. Here is a problem which is saying that we have FD, which is the frequency deviation, which is 25 kilohertz of a TV sound, and then the modulating signal frequency is 15 kilohertz, and we are to calculate the modulation index by this formula, simply putting these values in the formula, and we will get the modulation index for the FM case, which is 1.667 in this case. Here another important thing is being justified by this statement, that in most of the communication systems using FM, the maximum limits are being put both on the FD, which is the frequency deviation, and the modulating frequency, and that limit is being explained over here, that for FM broadcasting applications we have frequency deviation which cannot be greater than 75 kilohertz, and the modulating signal frequency which cannot be greater than 15 kilohertz. And so when we put these values in the formula of the modulation index, which is MF is equal to FD by FM, then we can see over here that the modulation index value is 5, which is permitted for the FM broadcasting applications. So we have over here a problem which is saying that if we have a modulation index of 2.2 and the frequency deviation FD of 7.48 kilohertz, what is the modulating frequency? So we again use the formula of the modulation index and put the values of the frequency deviation and the modulation index in it to get the final value of the modulating signal frequency, which is 3.4 kilohertz in this case. Let's come to the next topic, which is the narrowband FM. Let's read these instructions and then I will explain it to you. This is an abbreviation of the narrowband FM. which is any FM system in which the modulation index is less than pi by 2, which is 1.57, and is widely used in communication and conserves spectrum at the expense of the signal to noise ratio. And these are the diagrammatic representations of different modulated signals, which will be explained by me now. So why we use narrowband frequency modulation? As we know that in many cases in communication we have an electromagnetic spectrum, and that is needed to be conserved, because if we can send, if we have a bandwidth available to us which can be 10 kilohertz, and in that bandwidth we can either send two signals of 5 kilohertz bandwidth, or we can say we can send 10 signals of 1 kilohertz bandwidth. So as you know that frequency modulated signals have a more bandwidth and they conserve more spectrum than the amplitude modulated signal. So in some or in many cases we needed to conserve the bandwidth, and for that purpose we do what? We just uh, clip off these sidebands, which are the second order to future sidebands, or from, if we see on the left hand side, from second order to over here, and from second order to over here, we use a band pass filter, and with the help of that band pass filter we can filter the other sidebands, and we just keep the first order sideband on the left hand side as well as on the right hand side along with the carrier signal. And in this way the overall bandwidth of the FM signal, which is conserved, and that is why it is being said that it is a narrowband FM signal is a signal which has a modulation index of 1.57. Let's see over here. Uh, we can have over here, we have a carrier signal with no sidebands over here, and we have a modulated signal with first, second, third order sidebands. As you can see, when we increase the modulation index, the number of sidebands on the right hand side as well as on the left hand side of the carrier frequency increases. This is the view in the frequency domain. And similarly, when we increase the modulation index to 2, we can see that the number of sidebands on the right hand side is increased as well as on the left hand side. So when we increase the modulation index, the number of sidebands on the right as well as on the left hand side increase, and whenever we decrease the modulation index, the number of sidebands on the right and left hand side of the carrier frequency decrease. Now this is the case of the narrowband FM, in which we have a modulation index of 0.5. As you can see over here in the diagram, there is only a central carrier frequency with a first order sideband on the left as well as on the right hand side. So another important thing to remember about this is that statement telling over here that it conserves the spectrum space at the expense of the signal to noise ratio. Now you can see that in this case the information is represented by the sidebands on the right hand side and on the left hand side. Whenever we reduce the number of sidebands, as in this case, the signal to noise ratio decreases, and whenever we are having over here a narrowband FM in which we have just the first order sideband as well as left on the left hand side the first order sideband, then these only two sidebands are representing the information, and the signal to noise ratio is greatly reduced, but it is recoverable. So this is the case over here. Let's move to the next topic, which is the FM signal bandwidth. First we have to read the statements that the higher the modulation index in FM, the greater the number of significant sidebands and the wider the bandwidth. As you know that whenever the modulation index is increased, the side bands on the left hand side as well as on the right hand side increases, and this is what is being told over here, and resultantly the bandwidth will be increased. When the spectrum conservation is necessary, the bandwidth of an FM signal can be restricted by putting a limit, an upper limit on the modulation index, and that is, we can do it as we have seen in the previous examples over there, and where we have seen that for FM broadcasting applications the modulation index is limited to 5, and for the frequency deviation to 75 kilohertz maximum, and the frequency of the modulating signal to 15 kilohertz. This is the formula to calculate the bandwidth of an FM signal, which is involving the frequency deviation as well as the modulating signal frequency, and by this formula we are able to calculate the bandwidth of the FM signal. And as you can see in the problem, that over here the FM signal frequency is 3 kilohertz and the maximum frequency deviation, which is FD, is 6 kilohertz, and we have to find the modulation index as well as the bandwidth. And for the modulation index we already know the formula, which is MF is equal to FD by FM, and we are putting the values of FD and FM to get the value of 2 for the modulation index. Similarly, for the formula of the bandwidth we have this formula, where we will be putting the both the values over here to get the final bandwidth over there. Thank you very much.